broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Miriam Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Welcome to an all-new Younger after show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. If you guys haven't done so already, please go on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, rate, review, subscribe. We love hearing your feedback, all of your YouTube comments and tweets, so please keep it up. I have the beautiful Lindsey Miller here with me tonight.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsey Miller. That is my name. You can find me on YouTube. Well, you can find me on YouTube. There's like one video. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Rockin' Mama Life, and my website, rockinmamalife.com.
And you guys can find me, Sam Davidson, on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And of course, AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 9, The Good Shepherd. And I can't say the word shepherd ever again and not laugh and become extremely uncomfortable.
I know. This ruined the Christmas story for me.
It ruined some interesting things for me because we have Matthew Morrison from Glee, who is Mr. Schuster, and he's very wholehearted and pure.
He was very pure in this episode.
I would really...
We're gonna start right in with the bestiality, yeah?
Well,
I just go big or go home.
I just needed to talk about it because I was planning on talking about it more toward the end when it happened, we will hopefully not talk about it too much, but I just can't help it because I think it's funny. When we came in tonight, Lindsey and I were talking, and I said I was half paying attention, and then I had to rewind several times. I was like, wait, what?
Did that really just happen?
Whoa.
I mean, this show pushes the envelope a lot, but that was really? I give you this. I did not see that one coming.
I've never seen that one coming in
Kudos to the writers.
Well, it's true. They are pushing the boundaries every week, I think.
They really are. And
they're really trying to get people to pay attention.
Yeah, I guess. That's one way.
Well, the ads for the show are always tweet us, Facebook us, hashtag us.
Social media.
I know, but I do enjoy how they incorporate it into the show, which kind of kicks off this episode with Liza.
Screwing or the social media?
No, the social media, not the sheep screwing. You leave the best for the end, obviously. With the social media and all of that, and this is a younger generation for Liza. She doesn't really know anything. Her and Josh have broken up. She is baking up a storm.
Yes, I love that that's her stress response is to bake. Mine is to eat the things that are baked. But,
I think mine's to do both, actually.
To bake it, then eat it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to just buy them already baked and then eat them.
Good point.
My stress response.
It's a lot of work. Liza's putting in so much work to baking. It's very funny because I kind of, related, but it also made her be like, ooh, girl, you old. You know what?
Susie Homemaker.
Yeah, your age is coming out.
I'm surprised it wasn't a red flag for Lauren and Kelsey because, I don't know. If I was in my early... now being in my 30s, if I went to a friend's house and they were struggling with something or a breakup or their marriage and they were frantically baking, I'd be like, strange choice, but all right. But if I went to if I was in my 20s and went to a friend's house and they were full on apron and baking their heart out like Susie Homemaker, I'd be like, this is odd.
Yeah, it's you're having a mental breakdown. Yeah. Might need to go to rehab, but no, it's fine.
Do they have rehab for Bakers Anonymous?
Well, it's probably she's baking and taking Adderall in the back or something. Actually,
That's a different show.
That would make a lot of sense though for this episode.
Yeah.
But they come in, they're trying to comfort her, and then they tell her they've created a Tinder profile for her already. And then they see Josh, also on Tinder.
Yeah.
Apparently, each group of friends made it as a joke.
Yeah.
But how he really knew it wasn't Liza, or maybe it was as if either Liza has turned into more of a sociopath and is making a Tinder profile that she's 26 years old, or her friends did it for her.
No, I mean, it was pretty clear that hers was her friends doing it. I mean, that would be really out of character for her to be like, I'm 26 and on Tinder.
Yeah.
But I don't know that his was necessarily his friends doing.
Me either.
Although he does have that one roommate who's, like, not a fan of Liza. So I could see him making one.
And living vicariously through him.
Yeah, the one who, like, wears Liza's robe.
Yeah, and he's chubby and just, like,
Do we know
sits
his
and
name?
eats Cheetos. I don't know.
Kinda creepy.
I forget. I'm so sorry. I think we should know his name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Does anybody know his name?
Yeah. Please let us know.
roommate.
Are you in the chat right now? Is it?
I am in the chat right
Well,
now
yeah.
with Rosie Blooms and Lisa Payne. I can never say her last name, and Brandon
Awesome.
in the chat with us. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being in the chat because we'll ask you questions. So just know that Lindsay's here watching.
I am here just watching. One eye on the chat roll.
So after we have this like interesting beginning scene with the Tinder and the girls coming to Liza's house to cheer her up, Liza needs to go get more apples from the farmer's market.
Of course.
Well, it's just like you're turning into such a hipster. Oh my God.
I don't know. I'm kind of a hipster at heart. I love the farmer's market.
I like them too. Okay, it's not that I don't like them.
I love it.
I do. I do like them, but I don't think I'd fit in New York. I watched the show and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if they'd like me.
It's different. It's the farmer's market in New York and the farmer's market in LA are very different.
Yeah, I feel like in LA I go and I can go, but in New York it's a bit more aggressive.
Well, I feel like in LA, everybody goes to the farmer's market. It's just kind of where you shop, like, all different walks of life. But New York, it's definitely like it's a commitment to a lifestyle.
She goes a lot.
Yes.
Obviously. But when she goes, it's a flea market situation. We have those here in LA. And she meets the shepherd named Sebastian, who is was it a coat or a blanket that
It was a blanket made out of his sheep. Did you find this, like, meeting? When she walked over to him, I found it super creepy. Like, she walked over and she, like, picks up the blanket and she's, like, kind of massaging it. Has this weird, creepy look on her face. And she's like, this is so soft. Like, I just thought that whole, like, conversation was super odd.
I know. I thought she started off creepy. He kept on matching her.
Yeah.
He continued to match her creepiness, and he won. And we'll talk about that in a little
He
bit.
definitely won.
But let's just say that she wasn't that normal. The entire it was a weird interaction, and she had just broken up with Josh, and she was upset. And so next thing you know, she's just like hardcore into this shepherd. She
With
buys
his sheep blankets.
Yeah, and he names them, which I think is a crazy thing to do
So
if you're going to kill them.
I wrote gross, named by the land the wool came from.
And it like turned her on.
But he didn't kill them.
Well,
they just shear them. They shear all the wool off, and then they make them into blankets.
Right, okay.
Because the one she took home with her was Stella, and we meet Stella later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I wonder if she still uses that blanket.
I don't think so. I don't.
It seemed really soft and cozy, though.
But you know what? We're not sure. You know what? We'll get to it in a few minutes. I'm not sure if there was penetration. I know there was, but like it's Matthew Morrison from Glee, and it's hard for me to see him like that. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's the hipster Thoreau, so
Yeah.
Hipster Thoreau.
And he could have been whatever he was doing. Okay, let's get into some Kelsey.
Yes.
She is it's like watching another ticking time bomb.
Oh, like I said last week, this engagement is a freaking joke. That is clearly a skis ball.
I think that he's just not mature enough. I don't know why I defend Thad constantly.
I don't either, because he obviously is not actually in a serious committed relationship with Kelsey, and I still maintain my point of view that he only proposed to her because his boss said don't let that one go, and all he cares about is moving forward in his career.
Well, I think he wants to be with Kelsey.
No, I don't think he wants to. I think he wants to be a hotshot. And I think he knows that he needs to impress his boss to do that. And so if his boss says, oh, don't let that one go, he's not going to let that one go. He didn't even tell his parents
Yeah.
that he was proposing to her I'm sorry, but, like, you don't actually want to marry somebody if you think it might be a surprise or your parents might be upset if you propose to somebody.
Yeah, it's very true, and it's even more true when, and it's so funny, again, with social media being a theme of this episode, and for the show for that matter. You know, Kelsey posts a blurry photo on Instagram of her engagement ring and is wondering why it's not getting enough likes, and then she sends the request to Thad.
Yes.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I would have been just, it's off.
I think that happened when I got engaged to my husband. Because if it's true, if you, like, say you're engaged, but they don't, it's like this abyss of, like, you're engaged to yourself. But just because my husband doesn't use social media, so he, like, never really did that.
Well, with that, I don't think that that's the case exactly.
No. He clearly had some people that he needed to break the news to first.
Yes, which okay, so Thad said that as an excuse for not sealing the deal via Facebook, and I thought to myself, wow, that's really honest, but secondly, wow, Kelsey's...
He's dating other people.
Yeah, but Kelsey's response was like, oh, whatever, get it done, and, you know, like, we'll just do this all on the same night, and unfriend, blah, it's...
She's going to get caught up, and I mean, you can see it coming a mile away. She's going to get caught up, swept up in this, like, wanting to be married, and she's, like, enamored with being married, and she's going to look past the fact that he's a skis-ball. He doesn't actually want to marry her. He doesn't actually, like, want to be married, and she's going to look past that all, and it's just sad.
Well, I would very much love for her to come to that realization before he does. That would be really nice.
I hope she does, too.
Well, even Liza in this episode, which was so crappy.
Typical, though.
I was like, you know what, Lauren? I don't like you that much. And
nobody really does.
I really am not. And these random other girls we don't know are at these, like, drinks for their engagement, and with just with Kelsey and the girls. Yeah. And someone else brings up the fact that Thad is not what they want for Kelsey, and Liza agrees. And she ends up having to be the one to tell Kelsey, and the rest of the girls disagree with her. I was like, okay, cool. Are we getting rid of this girl? Any of these girls soon? Well, we just met most of them.
Some new people. Have we seen all of them before?
No.
Yeah, no, there was some new randoms. And Ashley in the chat said that if they were her true friends, they should tell her the truth about how they feel. And I agree. I think it was kind of lame for them to pin it on Liza and then be like, oh, no, we love him, Kelsey, as soon as they saw the look on her face. But also so typical of, like,
26-year-old girls.
Like, young girls that just want to, like, they don't want to, you know, ruffle feathers or whatever. Yeah.
You say ruffle feathers, I say rock the boat. It's good ones.
Potato.
Yeah, I know. But it's true. That annoyed me, but also made me laugh because I did think that it was very typical. We, you know, by the end of the episode, we'll just get to the end of Kelsey and Thad because we're going to save the best for last.
Yeah.
You know, he ends up telling his parents, and they are excited, and, you know, she leaves, everything gets officialized. She basically has to beg him to accept her engagement on Facebook and sit him down like a child.
And tell him that her vagina's on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
And his parents are on vacation.
Well, that was the thing that I said, you know, I was like, do you really want your future husband, when you say my vagina's on vacation, and then for him to respond, well, is your mouth?
Yes. He's a skis ball. That's what I'm trying to tell you. How are you defending this guy? He's, like, such a creeper.
Maybe because he's my type. That might be it.
Oh, that's why you're single.
I know.
Find a new type. Ladies.
I know.
If that is your type, you need to find a new one. Because if he's putting a ring on it, he's probably not really in it to win it.
Lindsay, that was brutal. That was, like, more brutal than my mom, but thank you.
That's the truth. He's a skis ball. He's clearly, I mean, do you buy that the loose ends were his parents?
No, he even admitted the loose ends were basically other people.
Other women.
Yes,
that
women.
He's seeing. I'm sorry, but how can you think that he really wants, any part of him, really wants to marry this girl and has some change of heart if he's, like, seeing other people, like actively seeing other people to the point where he can't announce his engagement because he needs to let down his other girlfriends.
I know, it's really bad. I don't think he's actively, at this point in time, having sex with other girls. I think maybe he's texting them flirty, inappropriate things, which is still really bad, obviously.
Ooh, Ashley doesn't think he even told his parents.
Oh,
also could be true.
That could be true. And it's really sad to see Kelsey so excited. Before we end their storyline, I want to throw something in there that Diana said that was so funny. Do you remember?
No.
When Diana and Kelsey first kind of had an interaction, Diana said something like, she gave her a bottle of champagne.
Oh, when she was, like, congratulating her for
on her first
engagement.
Yeah. But it was, like, her first one. I'll find it in a second. But it was a hilarious quote.
While you're looking for it, Lisa in the chat let us know Josh's roommate is Gabe. You're a hero, Lisa, for knowing that.
Yes, Gabe. Oh, my gosh.
So perhaps Gabe set up the Tinder profile.
Diana said, congrats on the starter marriage.
Oh, yeah. Which is what it will be if she marries Thad.
Yeah, it's either
He's the kind of guy who's going to marry her so that he can get forward in his career, and then he's going to drop her like a hot potato the second she needs her first round of Botox and find somebody younger.
Yeah. Oh, younger. That'll be younger, but in the bad way.
Younger-er.
And it'll be like Dumb and Dumber 2, Dumb and Dumber-er. We're going to be like younger-er.
Oh, sad. Sad Thad.
So sad. It really is. But I think that someone that sees Liza for herself in this episode is Shepherd Sebastian again. Which
he sees...
He sees something. But Kelsey really likes this idea, of the shepherd, and she loves what he wrote that he gave Liza to read.
Well, I think it's a great idea, like this whole idea of how it's, again, I can see how they were interested in it. It's kind of the polar opposite of the Jade nonsense, in this kind of like anti-technology, anti-city life, this sort of dream. Even I, watching it, I called my husband and I was like, I just watched my show where they went to this farm in upstate New York and it was just like beautiful and relaxing and it looked so simple and all I could think was I want to move to a farm. I think it's just in our world we're so busy, so I get how they would be enamored with this idea of a book that really preaches this kind of like leaving it all behind for just fresh air and simple living.
That people can only take for so long at this point in this generation. And
because they get lonely.
Yeah, they get lonely and maybe go a little crazy. I don't know. Or maybe you're just a huge pervert and move to the middle of the woods because you're a huge pervert.
Yeah. I'd go with the latter because I know a lot. I grew up in upstate New York, like middle of nowhere, and I know a lot of people that lived on farms, and I'd be willing to bet that none of them got so lonely or bored that they had a special relationship with their lambs.
I don't know. I really have never known anyone that's lived on a farm, and my brain went to like, oh, maybe that happens.
No, I do not think that happens.
If they're single and lonely.
I mean, I think it probably has happened. I think to say that it never happens is not true, but I don't think that's the norm.
Well, let's talk about what happens with his character in general. At first, he seems super awesome because Liza goes there to pitch him this book idea, and he says he already has a book written, which literally looks like a witch's grimoire.
Oh my God, I loved it.
Oh, it was awesome. I love witches' grimoires, but I'm just saying it looked...
I don't know what that word is you're talking about, but I loved the look of the book with the leather doll.
It's like a witch's book of spells.
Oh, okay.
And that's what it is. And it really looked like that, and he likes Liza. They end up... he goes to New York to meet with Diana and Kelsey. They love it. They love him. They end up offering him a deal. Liza goes to deliver the papers when they start making out. Oh, but I'm sorry. Before that happens, of course, they go out to dinner after the meeting at the publishing house. And
run into Josh.
Yes.
And his hot model date.
Well, no, she works for the New York Times, right?
Is that who that was?
From last week. She was a bitch last week to Liza.
Hussy.
Yeah, same girl. Yeah, Greta. I'm sorry, her name's Greta. But maybe they were just doing the same thing that Liza was doing, which is just like, dinner and drinks for business.
Maybe he was doing the same thing Liza was doing, but I guarantee that hussy was not. Greta was looking for some action.
Yeah, she had her claws in early, and then when she met Liza, she was like, oh no. And then digged in harder. Yeah. And not to get any predictions, but we do see next week that he's dating some pseudo celebrity, so maybe that's him. I don't know. Or her. Whoa. Maybe that's a Freudian slip, maybe.
Maybe he is a her.
Yeah. No, I have no idea. Oh, wow. That's getting really crazy.
I'm so confused.
Well, okay.
Who are we talking about?
There's a lot of... There's just...
5 years of life on the farm.
Okay, I just want to say that Josh isn't in a lot of this episode. And it's sad, and I missed him. But
like Josh.
the interaction was important tonight because it kind of drove Liza to jump into, Shepard's arms.
Yeah, I guess so.
You think she was just going to do it anyways?
I don't know. I actually thought it was weird, the whole thing with the shepherd, like the timing of it. I just don't necessarily buy, like, character-wise for Liza to, like, literally jump in. I don't know. It didn't really make sense to me that her character would be go from this, like, frantic baking, like, feeling so guilty, feeling like it's her fault, it all happened, and then be able to, like, be like, whatever, like, sexy shepherd, and, like, just sort of start hooking up with this guy. It just seemed, I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me.
She seemed hypnotized by the wool.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Does that happen in upstate New York, Lindsay?
I have never been hypnotized by wool. No. But apparently wool has a charm and a draw because she goes up to Potter's Hollow.
Yeah, she does.
Upstate
several times. And I just want to point out, too, the amount of... Every time she pulled up there, unannounced, uninvited, I was like, oh, this is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But she kept on doing it. And when she went the second time to bring him the papers, they ended up kissing a lot. Then she had to leave because of her phone, which I thought, I was like, well, if this turns into a thing, that is going to be a big red flag.
Well, that's what happened with his ex. Apparently, she could only make it 6 months on the farm without technology, and then she had to go.
Yeah.
Or perhaps he decided he wanted to bring in little spice into their relationship, and she was like, throw it on the line.
Oh, I know. I think... What's wrong with me? I'm like feeling
You're
bad
defending
for him.
He had sex with a sheep. Let's put it out there, guys. He had sex with a sheep
With Stella.
named Stella, whose wool he made blankets out of and sells.
And yeah, he
At a
does
market in New
like
York
to talk
City.
about her when he sells it. So
Yeah.
that's not good. I would love to know. So, okay, let's talk about what happened. Liza comes back she has one more piece of paper he needs to sign that she forgets. And she comes back one last time. He doesn't answer the front door. And then she goes in the back to the barn and sees him to what looks like having sex with a sheep with Stella.
No, he was having sex with this sheep.
What did he say?
Named Stella.
He said he was grooming her?
Yeah,
What?
I was grooming her as he's like moaning with his pants down.
Yeah, you're right. He was definitely having sex with her. But were his
Yeah.
pants really down? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
They were unbuttoned and
Yeah,
down.
I know.
I mean, not all the way down, but definitely down enough.
I'm just really wanting to defend Mr. Schuster from Glee.
I love Mr. Schuster, but he is not on Younger. It's a very different kind of character. I just went back to in my head when she first meets him at the farmer's market, and she was looking at the blankets, and he's like, this one's Stella, and then he was like, this one was like, it was another sheep's name, and he was like, she was a fine sheep too. Like,
Yeah, and
he
then
kept saying was, and I thought they were dead, but then after seeing the relationship he has with his sheep, I think he's referring to his past lays.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Like the sheeps he's had sex with. Like, she was a fine sheep, too.
Well, but then when Liza runs away and he screams, Stella, what?
He was screaming after the sheep.
That's what I thought.
The sheep Stella ran away. That's what I'm saying. This other sheep he had sex, too.
Oh, my God. It's the first time I've ever seen this portrayed, really.
I've watched a good amount of TV in my day, and it's definitely a topic that is not in vogue.
I did not see this one coming at all.
Can you imagine the writer's room? They're like throwing out ideas, and they're like, hey, what if he had sex with the sheep?
I think it's pretty hilarious, actually. I know. It's not that I'm not disturbed by it. I know that you
I'm so
were disturbed.
I'm so disturbed by it.
But I couldn't believe that they did it. and exactly that they thought of that in the writer's room and probably talked about it. I thought it was hilarious, and it gets your attention.
Oh, it's definitely attention grabbing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love, well, first of all, you know, Liza, when she sees it, she drops the manuscript, all the papers, and runs. I don't know if I would have done... I think I would have been like, yeah, bye. Get me out of here. But what about professionally, though? I mean...
I think when you just come across somebody who's having sex with a sheep, you just don't really think about anything other than you just came across with somebody having sex with a sheep.
Okay, but let's just...
But do you think that this is the last we're going to see of him?
I wanted to say I hope we do see more of him, but...
Because I think his book is really... What's disturbing to me is that I feel like his book idea, you know, this whole, like, 5 years on a farm and this, you know, leaving everything behind from the city to have this simpler life or whatever, I think it's a great book and would be perfect for the millennial imprint.
Me too.
Because it's something that's very relevant to, like, that age range where you're sort of caught in this rat race and you need this breath of fresh air and this, you know, influence. And so I'm very torn. It's like you said, the professionalism. Is she going to have to go back and be like, okay, you're super uber creepy, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal in, like, most states, the United States of America, but you got a really good book. So, like, let's do this.
I mean, think about the female feminist that we saw past couple weeks.
He was super creepy.
And I'm sure he's done some weird things, too. Yeah, that we don't know about. I mean, he was weird. And I'm kind of sad that we didn't get a little wrap-up. I feel poor Diana.
Yeah.
That is...
Diana.
I know. That must have been so embarrassing for her.
Totally embarrassing. But I do think, you know, she was worried how she could market this book, and, you know, the sheep whisperer is one way to go.
Yeah, you know, I feel like, okay, either one of two ways, that this character might be ruined because no one's ever going to take his character seriously because of what we have seen. However, I do think it'd be an awesome book for the imprint.
I mean, it would be an awesome ending of the book. It's like kind of, you know, you tell this story of this dream, you know? It's you know what it is? It's like one of those movies where you find out, like, they were dead the whole time.
I knew you were going to say that.
So it's like, you know, you read this book and you're like, he's living the dream. He's left it all behind. He found this simpler life. And then at the end you find out that he's just been having sex with sheep.
You know, I think if they make it, they're going to cut that part out.
I think that's what would make the book, like, really drive it home.
You need to work for the imprint. That's what needs to happen. On that note, let's get into some predictions for next week.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, that's on me. Okay, so the big thing, you know, in the previews where they say, where you see Kelsey, or not Kelsey, you see Liza in bed with Maggie, and she's saying, I drank too much last night and something terrible happened. My first thought was, oh, we see her ex. Right? So I was like, oh, maybe she hooks up with her ex. And then I'm like, no, that's too good. They just had somebody have sex with a sheep. That's, like, way too predictable, having sex with her ex. And then I was like, ooh, maybe she hooks up with Thad, which would be really, really wrong. And then I was like, no, that's way wrong. But you do see Thad looking over her shoulder while she's on the phone. And I think maybe Thad finds out that she is not who she says she is.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't get that at all.
Maybe she got sloppy. And maybe Thad actually finds out. But on the flip side, I think that Liza finds out that Thad is hooking up with other chicks. So I think maybe they both have something on each other. And I think it's going to be a real litmus test for Liza as a human being to see if she's willing to keep that secret, knowing that that's, like, really going to hurt Kelsey, to keep her own secret, or if she's going to come clean to Kelsey and let her know what that is really up to.
Wow,
Right? That was loaded.
Yeah, that did not cross my mind in the slightest.
No?
No. My mind is kind of blown, and that would be interesting if it went in that direction. I don't know if it will, otherwise you have an amazing imagination.
I know, right?
You're building some really good story there.
Thanks.
That would be a great storyline for the show. I think that when Liza meets with her ex, that she messes up by telling her ex what she's doing. And maybe they hook up a little bit, or maybe they hook up, but she might, kind of let go and tell him everything that's going on with her. And because we see him saying, I'm not a bad guy, I'm better than you think I am, so maybe he somehow gets her trust for the time being and they're drunk and she tells him. But,
I like my story better.
I do too. I think that would suck. No, she can't hook up with Thad.
I don't think she'll hook up with Thad, but I think that Thad will find out that she's not who she says she is, and I think he'll hold it over her. But she'll have on him that he's hooking up with other people.
Yeah, and then she'll have to end up. I do like that because she will have to.
She's gonna have to tell
Kelsey because
she would be a horrible person if she didn't.
Yeah, and there's a lot of these storylines about blackmail. There's been several of them, and it's like you tell them this, I'll tell them this. So I think this is gonna be Liza coming clean, perhaps, but that kind of sucks because it's that she has to.
Yeah, which is not really. Doesn't really give a whole lot of closure.
Yeah, and I know I said at the beginning of the season because somehow my brain had a huge brain fart at the end of last season. And I was like, oh, Kelsey knows.
Kelsey already knew.
Kelsey's good. She knows.
But what if she does?
I thought that, but now I'm just like, you know what? I'm not so sure that she's the sharpest tool in the shed.
She's definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah, I think that Diana knows.
Really?
Yeah, I
wouldn't be surprised by that.
Because, okay, why would she continue to keep her on as her assistant? It's at this point, she's going to have to get promoted soon.
Yeah.
She's really working hard on this imprint, and Diana is letting her take meetings with her, which is a big thing. So part of my prediction is that Liza either will get promoted or outed, and I think part of that, though, is that Diana knows.
Yeah.
She's had an inkling. But sometimes you don't want to get confirmation of those things because you have to do something about it.
Yeah, because I could see Diana holding, again, like there's a lot of this blackmail that it's kind of a theme of the show. And I could see, like you said, Diana holding that over her head and wanting to promote Liza to a position for her, but say, like, you're going to have to give up your imprint. And, if you don't take my position, what I'm asking you to do, then I'm going to tell your little friend that you're not really who you say you are.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. Although I like Diana too much for her to be.
Well, I also think that this week we are starting to she's kind of getting in on the group with Kelsey.
I love Diana.
I liked her the most I think I've ever liked her this episode. And so I don't think she's going to blackmail Liza, but I think that she knows that Liza's older than she says. But I think she's just kind of going to get in on the action.
I kind of want her to be like pal. I want to see like the three of them go out for drinks and be like palsy. I think
what if fun. Maggie and Diana, and Diana's like, maybe I'll be a lesbian.
I've said that all along. I want Maggie and Diana to hook up.
That would be awesome.
And Diana to go to like Maggie's awkward sex party.
Yeah.
I think it would be hysterical. Couldn't you see her being like dominatrix? Like it's like totally perfect for her.
Absolutely. I completely do. Let us know what you guys think. We put a lot out there this episode, as did Mr. Schuster from Glee.
As did the writers. Who, I agree, Lisa. The writers are odd, and that is what we have garnered from this season.
But I'm a fan. I love this show.
Dare to be different.
We all do. We miss our other co-hosts.
Yes.
Of course, Tara and Dan. We will all hopefully be here next week. Lindsay, where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rockin' Mama Life.
And you guys can find me online at samdavidsonentertainment.com or on Twitter and Instagram at samd43. We will see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.